Okay. We're back.
We're back. Don't mind my voice, it's going.
Okay. So
But as always. But so now it's my movie. And well, it's not my movie, but my choice. I wish it was my movie. It's called The Mad Woman's Ball or La Balle de Feu. Its director is Mélanie Laurent. It's really, and she's also stars in it. This
trailer.
is a...
So watch the trailer?
What?
Watch the trailer?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Director?
so let's watch the trailer. Yes, I can't wait for you to see it.
Où sommes-nous?
Je ne reconnais pas le...
Oh non, pas ça.
Pas la salpêtrière!
Pas la salpêtrière.
Non, pas ça. Pas ça. Non!
Je n'ai rien à faire ici. Ça, ce n'est pas toi qui le décide. C'est ton père, enfin. C'était ton père. Maintenant, c'est le docteur Charcot, c'est comme ça.
Ne bougez pas, Marie.
Déclenchez. Vos yeux se ferment, vous n'entendez que ma voix.
Est-il vrai que vous communiquez avec les morts, mademoiselle?
Ne me touchez pas!
Calmez-vous.
Je me calme si je veux. Nous rions. Nous dansons. Nous dansons. Nous dansons. Nous sommes fortes. Nous sommes libres. Nous sommes éternels.
Mesdames et messieurs, je vous prie maintenant d'accueillir celle que vous attendez tous.
Okay. So, as I was saying, Mélanie Laurent is the director plus Genevieve. She plays Genevieve. Lou Delage is Eugenie. And Emmanuel Beckel is Jean. It's a really interesting movie. This is a period piece, 1885. It takes place in France. And to be specific, we follow this young woman, Eugenie Clary, living in Belle Epoque, Paris. Eugenie is a prolific reader and does not act quite in the correct social norms expected of young women at that time. She's interested in spiritualism and she sneaks out to cafes to read and smoke. Her behavior is very worrisome to her family, and they really are concerned and worried for her. And oh yes, she sees dead people and she speaks with them. This is frowned upon. This lands her in an infamous and real life, this is a real life
place. Yeah.
Petit-Salpêtrière Hospital, a neuropsychiatric clinic where women deemed unfit for public life would be hospitalized. It reminded me very much, just kind of off, just a throw-in of a Angelina Jolie movie we saw, which actually which took place in this century, like relative century.
In a lot of centuries.
Here they were under surveillance and exposed to experimental therapies by Dr. Charcot, which is the actor is Gregoire Bonnet. Here, Eugenie finds herself among the other mad women that are basically like herself, misbehaving, like Marguerite Lauren Fillier, a pickpocket and possible prostitute who has fits of rage. Another older woman has been in the hospital for most all her life for throwing her husband in the Seine. Another is an epileptic, and so on. Basically, these women do not conform to the social norms. So Eugenie is the young woman we follow. But there's also another story that's running along with her, which is the nurse, Genevieve, Mélanie Laurent, who is the head nurse. And at first we think she's kind of like Nurse Cratchit. That's what we think she may be. She's kind of like stoic. But so slowly her story starts to unfold. And she is far more interesting than our first opinion of her. But actually the stories start to conjoin and intertwine and almost separate like that. And it's really well written. The acting is super and the story is super. I would highly recommend this movie to anybody.
Oh, me? Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this movie too. It reminded me of that non-movie we did a while back. I can't remember the name of it.
Non-movie. Which one? I've done so many.
It was the one with that she's also. She thinks she's
one who
crazy.
she saw the.
She keeps seeing the.
She keeps having the vision of.
Visions of Jesus or something. Like that.
No, Mary.
Oh, Mary, yeah. And they think she's crazy, so and she shows proof. That was actually interesting.
It's actually a lesbian thing going on in that one.
A lesbian rumpy pump.
They always make strong.
It's a lesbian rumpy pump.
Why is that?
That was clever.
But also, I like that actress, Mélanie Laurent. But I feel like I've seen her in a lot of movies, but I cannot find a movie that I've seen her in.
Glorious Bastards.
Glorious Bastards.
Okay, there.
And now you see me.
Yeah, now you see me. Okay.
Yeah.
What really surprised me was when Bruce Willis found out he was a ghost. Oh, wrong movie. Wrong movie. Hold on.
Spoilers.
So yeah, right. So yeah, I thought it was a great relationship with the two characters, the girls, and it really shows you how women, like you said, women are treated, have been treated throughout history, and how the doctors also take advantage, and also the treatment. Wow, it's torture basically. Some of the treatment that they do,
remember,
and that they have to do. It's like wow, that's put him in a tub full of ice.
Ice bath. Yes,
that was
long. So and they think that they actually think that that's gonna help. So it's really. And I love period pieces. I love the cinematography. I just love the whole thing. It kind of reminds me of the Alienist a little bit.
Yeah. Same time period, maybe.
But I enjoyed it. It was a nice movie.
Wow, I wouldn't quite call it a nice movie. I guess it does have a nice ending, perhaps, but I thought it was actually very good. Out of all the movies, this is the one I enjoyed the most, I think. I thought from the opening, it was stunning. They're at Victor Hugo's funeral, and the way he filmed it, I thought was it was a cinematographer. His name is I actually wrote this down because I want to make sure that it's Nicholas Karakastanis. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I thought it was beautifully shot, so I thought there was a very cinematic movie. I think the only thing maybe that people will not like is its pacing. It is a very slow pace, but I think the drama really simmers, though. It's once you find this she's a very likable character, but like you said, she does see and hear dead people that she tells her brother and her grandmother. Now, the thing is, it's like, okay, if you were to tell me that you saw and spoke to dead people, I would say, yes, you are mentally unfit. You should seek help, period. I know that for a fact.
Really?
So after a while, it's like, okay, I understand because her father is very strict, like you mentioned before, that she is an independent woman at the time. The fact that she went to Victor Hugo's funeral on her own was unheard of, in which she lies to her family. Where were you? I was at a friend's house. That tells you the kind of... and she's late for dinner. So she apologized to her father. But then even at the dinner, her brother mentioned he's going to go to a debate. And she says, oh, I can go to a debate salon. And her father forbids it, saying no. Because I think you're right. It's not so much women, but society women.
Exactly.
People of a certain class.
Right,
you
right.
cannot misbehave or step out of line at any point.
Very,
very much so, yes.
There's the play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why it is refreshing that her brother sort of indulges her. Like at one point, he's the one who sort of takes her and drops her off at a cafe, like you said, where she can smoke, read what she wants to, etc. But then you realize, even though she says this, you actually see an experience of her and her grandmother with an episode in which she finds something of her grandmother's that had been missing since, she said, I think it was an engagement present that's been missing for 40 years or something. And then the grandmother says, how did you know it was here? I said, grandfather told me. So at that point, at least we're clued into that this is not just somebody's mind being a little on the what I would deem as quote unquote crazy or insane behavior. But no, she actually can. She has some kind of talent. This talent actually will come into use because once she is institutionalized, to which no one even, she doesn't even know she's going there. Her mother wakes her up and tells her, oh, make sure you get dressed. We're going to take you to this place where we want you to sort of meet another man type of thing. They're also encouraging their son to meet the right woman, to which she and her father have an argument over the treatment of this so-called fiance. So it's, once she's there, though, that's when I think the movie's drama really kicks into place because in my opinion, it's not just her story at this point. It is several of the inmate stories there. Like you said, I'm sorry, a woman who kills her husband, like I said, she throws him in the Seine. That's sort of crazy behavior. So I think, no, she probably belongs in there.
No, depending on the circumstance.
Yes, we don't know the circumstances. Yes. If he,
but that's all women were treated.
But that's true. I'll grant you that. But to me, it's like, okay, no, she went to trial for being a murderess. Now nothing is brought up. But what I like about it is the fact that she's already accepted it. She knows she's there. She's practical about it. She doesn't want to take place in, any of the kind of social kind of things they do. She's really on her own. But you could tell this woman isn't crazy, or what you would deem crazy. She seems, lucid, very well spoken. So you think, oh, okay, this is, again, the position women are put in at this point. But there are others there that you could tell do have a problem. I think the woman with the epilepsy that you had mentioned, that was very fascinating because they were also experimenting with her with hypnosis and hoping to help the treatment. And yet it's funny because it's not until that Lou Delage character where she tells them, it's like, no, it's not you, it's them. She's pointing out it's the doctors that are making you this way. So it is sort of fascinating that she challenges them. And then, of course, the more she challenges them, the more punishment she gets. Right. Except that she does find, a sort of savior or at least someone who will listen to her. And that's, again, the Mélanie Laurent character.
Eventually.
Yes. Eventually, yeah. Because she then tells her an experience that she has or tells her to go do something. And then it's like she listens to her and it turns like, okay, perhaps she's not as crazy as we think she is, that she has this talent.
I never thought she was crazy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we know she's not because we were privy to the experience that she had. So watching all this, I thought, okay. And I thought, this can only end badly. So I thought, and as I mentioned to Susie many, many, many times about the French and women being mad, this seems to be a very, very common theme. I don't know why, but it seems to be. But in this case, I really thought they took it to a level which I really enjoyed. Now, first of all, the title of the film is something I'd never heard of, that apparently the asylums did run a ball for the inmates, to which they get dressed up and everything. And they have, I'm assuming, people who will come and donate money. But it is a ball. It is a true.
Seem like family members and stuff.
But it's also to me, I felt like a zoo, like a display. Look at all this.
Well, in a way, and I'm sorry, like a brothel, basically.
It was a brothel.
Basically, I mean, the way you saw some of the guys, they just literally tried to either get the women drunk or just basically take them. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm assuming because they're paying the asylum money, basically, right? So I just thought, oh, this is not going to end well. But fortunately for me, I will spoil it. I thought it did end well. I thought it was very interesting. I just thought it was actually a very good drama if you can stick with the characters, because I always liked the Lou Delage character. I always felt her, but I also liked the Mélanie Laurent character because I thought, no, she's there, she's practical. Even though she shows a coldness, she's not showing any cruelty.
Right.
And that's what I appreciate about her.
Yeah.
I thought, she's level-headed, and sure enough, she is throughout the entire movie, in my opinion.
Well, I also think, remember, these are the beliefs of the time.
Oh, yes, exactly.
She's not, these people believe this.
Right.
So
And-
they believe in the bloodletting.
Well, the men
Right.
believe it.
Well, that's the thing too. And then she, as the basically the head nurse, I guess you would call it, at this asylum, that she has to listen to their rules, and even she questions their treatments to certain people. And that, again, that's what I appreciate. It. At least she questions it, and then of course, the doctor just sort of dismisses her and says, "Oh no, just do what I want and this and that," but does listen to her at certain times. For example, of releasing certain people out of like a solitary confinement. But you're right; it's sort of depressing to watch how people are treated once people are put in asylum, and this is just sort of, I hate to say the cliche or the norm, but it really is not. It's very. I thought some of the scenes were hard for me to watch. So.
I know somebody that this happened to, and that was back in the last century, right?
Okay.
That's
Francis Farmer.
No,
Even
I'm-
that far. That's not
I'm
that far
talking about
ago.
Lorraine.
Huh?
Lorraine. I'm talking about Lorraine.
Oh.
I know somebody personally that this happened to.
Too. Yeah.
Our,
Oh,
baby,
Lorraine,
our
our
babysitter.
Wow,
Ah.
not to
You
be
know?
confused with Laurent.
Actually, Lorraine and then Francis Farmer later.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I know some of this happened to, and I'm very aware of it, let's say.
Yes.
Okay,
No.
is that good?
Yes.
Patty?
Okay, this movie was inspired by an 1887 painting by, and please forgive me because I can't say French for my life, André Brulé.
Sounds good.
And it shows a doctor surrounded by medical instruments. And there's like a, what do you call that when it's
Curtain?
like- no, there's
Oh, the auditorium.
the auditorium,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yes.
with other doctors who are watching why this man using, because he was very well known, Dr. Chaka, known for his hypnosis, which was considered very advanced. And he would use all his patients, but in the picture, it's a woman like falling kind of over him. Her corset's open, but her left fist is clenched, which says a lot in the movie. And this is what the movie was taken from, this picture. He was considered really groundbreaking in mental illness. But really what made the mental illness is not the women that went there. It's the place created this mental illness. And for women at that time, it was hell. I'm so glad I was never brought up in that time. Genevieve is the head nurse, right?
Yes.
And
Jean?
and
Jean? No.
and what was the other one?
Jane.
Jane.
Jean. Jean.
Okay,
Whatever.
both stories run
Eugene.
parallel.
No. Which one? The nurse?
The patient.
Oh, the patient, Eugenie.
Eugenie, right. Okay. But what's interesting about this movie is, and it's a female director, which I like, is that she really shows how women, they call it, what do they call it? The whisper network, which I love. It's how women get
Communicate.
information and give information with a look. It's so subtle that even in a misogyny, in the midst of misogyny, they don't catch on. But it's just something women have. Like, that's why they could say, oh, that person's sad, or she's got something to tell me. Let me see what else. It's very slow, but which is what I hate about French movies. But in this movie, it was okay. It was kind of fascinating. The part that she hears and hears and can talk to dead spirits is the very least
Right.
of the movie.
Yeah.
But they use that as a way to kind of con you into it. But it's the travel of these two women and a happy ending, which I'm glad to say. It's the whispering that I love. It's, as a woman, I know it.
The subtleties.
It's more than subtleties. It's instinct. It's just a way that women have had to learn to communicate with each other because they're open to a different channel than men. And it's something that you can, as a woman, you can feel. I don't know if guys have this. You can feel.
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean? Me
Yeah,
too.
okay,
And whenever
sure. Beer.
and when you go, she's doing this, and everybody goes,
Oh, you're crazy. She's so nice.
She's so nice.
She's a bitch. No, she's not. Because she's doing all the societal expectations.
Yes.
But women know women.
Yeah.
And I'm sure men know men too. But to me, that whispering was a main part of the movie because it's not an action movie. And I don't even know if I call it a melodrama. But
I would.
They call it a suspense thriller, actually. Believe it or not.
I don't think there's even a term for it. But I noticed every detail has a point. And one of the points I noticed the most was most women's heads are from the back. So you never know what the woman's thinking, where she's going, what she's doing. It's a mass, like women. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And that's why I thought was funny, because that's why I said about the opening. It had a very Magritte kind of look
and they were
of just the necks
of
and the back of the head. Yeah. Of her head, basically. Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah, I fell asleep trying to watch this movie. And,
I've done that to many lawns.
And I just said, I guess I'm just not going to be talking about this movie. But then I watched an episode of your show yesterday. And I said, well, okay, I gotta watch the rest of that movie.
Damn it.
Torture porn.
What?
That movie's torture porn to me.
I get that.
You know, I mean, it's like naked women and then they're tortured and blah, blah, blah. I did some research on it, and what I read was that, first of all, this is the second movie made about this particular situation, this particular case. But it's based on an actual case, and the woman that was played by Lou Delage in this had the same last name as the character played by Mélanie Laurent.
Really?
Yeah. Which I thought was interesting. The doctor Chacot, he was a real guy.
Right. Yes.
I think all of it was real, to a degree. Ultimately, the problem I had with the movie is about one rich girl escapes. So
right.
what? What about all the rest of them? It's
that's
like that wasn't a happy ending to me. And the only sympathetic male character in the whole movie, semi-sympathetic even, is her brother, who they indicate is gay.
They always do that. To be a strong woman, you have to be gay. To be a compassionate man, you must be gay.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like weird. And I said, well, this is, I don't like what's being done here. I know it was done.
Right.
I thought it was like kind of the whole thing of setting it up. Why do you tell us ahead of time that she talks to the dead or that she sees the dead, when it's a crucial, in one scene, it's a crucial thing, but it's not done like that you would say, hey, this is a movie about someone who talks to the dead.
Right.
That's like a sales pitch that's bullshit. And like I say, at the time when it's used, because it's how she breaks through to the nurse.
Yes, but it's also what gets her in the hospital too.
Exactly. Well, the fact that she talks to the dead is what. Yeah, right. What does both things. Since we talked about it, what gets her in the hospital and what possibly might get her out of the hospital.
Oh, okay. So that wasn't the part that I slept through. Although I did go back a ways into the movie. I didn't go all the way back to the beginning. But,
I didn't see it quite the way you did, Patty. I didn't see all this. I thought, okay, when I thought very hopeful of the concept of freedom. What's freedom? Right. Because this one does this, but remember, the other one also gets freedom from the exact opposite solution.
But Bob's got a great point. So what happened? Nobody talks about what happens to the rest of the women.
Well,
you know what I mean?
We don't know. It's really about
we know
we don't. It's
that it still exists.
It's about those two women.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
The one.
It's about three women.
Well, yes, but
I say it's about the two.
Yeah,
the Genevieve
and
the
thing
Jane
is,
character is crucial to it.
They both found what they needed to find.
Exactly.
But one had the exact opposite solution. It was the exact opposite. The nurse, hers was from going inside, and this one was from leaving. Right. So they both found freedom in a different way.
Exactly.
Because that is freedom. It's not it's in your head. It's it's in fulfilling your destiny, kind of. So I didn't see it so much as that. I mean, I think people forget women. People who do not fit their roles.
Right.
whatever society deems as
But
your
rule.
they bear the lines of your restrictive you can go anywhere between here and here. You can't go outside of
Right.
there.
And that's
It doesn't have to be a man or a woman.
But it also
But
makes
it
a point,
concentrated
like,
on
like
women.
Bob says, he
Well,
makes
yeah,
a point
but
about
I didn't
class.
see it as that.
About the cast?
Like Bob says, he does make a point about class because,
Yeah, it's a big
you know,
point.
if you're poor, you're screwed. This is what happens to the rest of them. They'll go back in there and get raped or whatever, you know. So,
Well, and in fact, that's why I say it is about the three women, because she tells Jean she tells her the truth that she has heard from this, that she's hearing from the spirits, and it's the truth. And you can see that it moves the woman profoundly.
Are you talking about Jean?
Yeah. And what happens is she can't accept it, so she turns on it and does something brutal to her.
Right.
So I think that character is as important as the other two main characters.
Well, I think it's an important character, but like I said, I think the two main characters is like, no, the story is about the two of them.
The story is about the situation.
Yeah.
No, the two of them, how they fulfilled their destiny, and fulfilling your destiny might be different in different situations. Also, I did not feel that the life in there for a lot of those women was bad. They did not seem, the old woman did not seem unhappy with it.
you have to, because you adapt. You have to adapt to your environment.
I agree
to
with
survive.
Bob. It really has to do with
But you know,
where you are socially. Like those two women, okay, the nurse wasn't super rich, but she was considered respectable, and the rich girl. But the one that wasn't in that situation.
Well, I thought you get more freedom in that time as a poor person than as a society person.
Being a shrink ward.
But you know
See
the
how
part
much
when
freedom you get.
Yeah, but these women were all of them were at the beck and call of the profession,
Of the system.
of the profession and the system. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any
Doctors.
choice. I mean, it was like, okay, I'll adapt to being here because I know I'm never getting out of here.
Right.
But that's not. That's
but don't
not,
we all, aren't we all fitting into a system really?
Yes, but if you're, it's like.
But
you
do we
can
have a
be-
choice?
You can be
No.
in a storm, but some
No, you
people,
don't.
the rich people, have the
It's an
luxury
illusion.
liner. The poor people have no boats.
But
It's
no-
the same storm, but it's where your place is in it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that part when they took that convertible over the cliff in Utah, that was wrong movie.
Okay.
That's
so
great.
I think we're done, eh?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Actually, I like that. It's powerful. I give it a 9.
I give it a 6.
All right. Patricia?
I'm shocked. I got to give it a 7. It's an interesting movie.
3.
10.
Oh, you're the new
Okay.
All right then. So
Excuse me, the new line.
We'll be back.
Let's define our terms.
One never goes over 4.
Okay. So that ends this episode of What the Flicks podcast, episode 55. Remember to subscribe and hit the like button. And I think we're good. So until next time. Adios.
Adios.
So long, folks. That's all, folks.